Hello friends, it's Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. I am so happy that you are spending your time with me. Thank you so much for being a part of my community and for just supporting me by watching my videos and making my projects and showing them to me in my Facebook group. I really value and appreciate having you as a part of my community here, so thanks again. We are going to make these adorable pumpkin gnomes. Aren't they like just so cute? And I'm telling you friends, they are so easy to make. You're gonna want to make one for all your friends. If you have a fall craft table, be sure and put them on your table because you will sell them. They're just that adorable. And I have used a variety of different yarns here. We're gonna make this orange one together, but I have used a variety of different yarns and I will have them all listed in the description box below. So please do have a look for that there and you will get the names of the yarn that I have used. All right, and so I also use my 46 and my 22 needle Addis, but you can go ahead and use your Sentros and they will work just as well. All right, so once you have your supplies, let's get started on these very cute pumpkin gnomes. Friends, don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this tutorial and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I also have a PayPal and a Buy Me a Coffee link below, and if you love my channel and take advantage of a lot of the free patterns that I offer you, I would love it if you would support me in that way as well. It does make a difference and helps me to continue what I'm doing here. So thanks again for joining me. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I can't wait to see your gnomes. Please post them in my Facebook group. All right, friends, we are going to start. This is the yarn I'm using. It is Mainstays Lollipop yarn. I had to pull quite a bit out of the center to find the center pull actually. So there's a bunch of it unraveled on my floor. But I think that's gonna make a beautiful pumpkin color. So we're going to use that. There it is on the bottom. And I'm half expecting that I'm gonna fight with it a little bit in my machine because I do with Mainstays yarn, but this one feels a little bit softer. So I'm gonna give it a go. I'm also going to use the tensioner. Now, if you follow my videos, you know I rarely use a tensioner. I always like to have it in my hands. But this time I'm going to use a tensioner because I think as this goes through the little hole there, it's going to help soften it a little bit and to just make it easier to knit with. So I'm just assuming that it's going to cause me a little bit of problems, but we're going to see. Let's bring the last white and the first black needle in line with our yarn feeder. All right, we're going to do the drawstring cast on, taking that yarn. We're going to go in front of that first black needle, behind the next, in front and behind, all the way around. Just let that slip through your fingers. Don't put any extra tension on it, and your next row will be a lot easier. Your next row, which will be your first row. We do not count our cast on row, but before I get to the end, I'm going to set my row counter to 0. There we go. So I'm all ready to go. And there we go, it's behind that last white, into the yarn feeder, but into that bigger loop, just like that. So then I can put my tensioner into there. Doesn't matter if you have it that way or if you have it that way, whatever you like. And I'm going to start with the smallest tension hole. If I need to move it to the middle one, I will, but I'm going to start with the smallest one because I think that will work fine. And we're going to go slowly on our first round, making sure those loops go down over the red teeth. Going slow, the first round is key to any yarn that you use, because sometimes these little loops like to go in between the little red teeth, or you get difficulty with split. It likes to well, go in between and catch, but it also likes to stay up on the needle and tuck because there's no weight to pull it down. So if you go slow for the first couple of rounds, that's enough to get a good start and you should have no problem. Now, if Mainstays yarn was bad in my machine, I would be noticing it already. I think with this tensioner, it's going to be fine. But you have to find the speed that works with the yarn that you're using. And for this Mainstays yarn, I know that I'm going to probably need to maintain a slower speed just so that I don't get some tucked stitches here. It's weird not holding it with my fingers because I generally do, but I'm going to speed it up just a little bit, keeping my eye right here to see if it's going to tuck. If it does, then I know that I have to slow it down. I'll fix the tuck and then slow it down. But this is actually working really well. friends, you're going to keep going till you have 60, or pardon me, you're going to keep going until you have 70 rows. All right. I made one with 60 rows, but I want it to be 70. I like the 70 row count better. All right. So we're going to, and you can even do 80 if you want it a little bit bigger, but I'm going to do 70. And once my project starts to touch the table, I will meet you back. If you're new, I'll show you what I'm going to do at that point. If you're not new, then you know what I'm going to do. So keep going, and I'll see you at row 70. All right, so I am at 61 rows, and it's gonna touch the table soon. I could probably continue till 70, but if you have yarn that's a little bit stretchier than this and it's starting to touch the table, you don't want it to be bunching up like this as it hits the table and you turn, because you might drop a loop off the little red teeth here, but it also changes the tension. You want your tension to be nice and firm around the inside of your barrel. By the way, look at how beautiful these colors are. This is the first time I've ever bought this yarn. This would make a gorgeous scarf because the stripings are all wide and they're pretty uniform. It's not like they change and you have, you know, thinner one color and thicker another color. I really love how this yarn is working up. So I have to check into some of the other colors. Yes, I do. Like I need more yarn, like I need a hole in my head, but I'm gonna check anyways. All right, so you roll it up into a donut, and that helps to keep it firm around the inside here, and you keep going till you have 70 rows. What is this little, oh, that's the tail. Okay, scared me there for a second. I'm gonna keep going, 70 rows, see you soon. I'm coming up to the end of my last row, and you'll see I've taken a black permanent marker and marked that divider between the last white and the first black, so I always know when the end of the row is coming around. I'm gonna put that in front of my yarn feeder, and there you go. We are done 70 rows. I'm going to take out my tensioner, open my guide, make sure this stays between the last white and the first black, because we still have to finish knitting these two. I'm going to let that pop down, then I'm going to keep this out of the yarn guide and it's not catching on any of the needles, and I'm going to rotate my barrel almost all the way around until that last white and that first black come in line with the screw or a little bit past. Once these needles start to pop up, you want to make sure that you, like the needles that are close to the first one here, you want to stop turning, because on the second pass, as soon as it hits this, as soon as this needle pops up, it's going to pop those loops off, and now they're ready to all be taken off with our needle. So there's two ways to cast off. This is one way that I do it. Another way is you cast off on this side one at a time before turning it one full crank. Watch some of my older videos and you'll see I've done it that way. But I'm going to take a long tail around your barrel, but like that, maybe 4 times. Even a little bit longer if you like, because we're going to use that 4 times is good. We're going to use that to shape our pumpkin. That's going to be a little bit too long, but I'd rather it be too long than too short. I'm going to put my needle on the end there. We're going to cast off, remembering that all of these stitches are ready to fall off. So when you pick up your first stitch, come out sideways and pull through. Don't pull up, because then this won't come off unless you put your finger over it while you're pulling. All right, then I'm going to take the next one, and I can probably take the third one too. Put your finger over like that if you don't want to risk it falling off, and pull through. Put that all back into the center. And now there's a little bit of slack. I can take off a few at a time. Can get to 4. Put my finger over that next one. Pull through. Now I'm going to crank my handle so that that one is near the screw or a little bit past. We're going to continue just like that until we have all of our stitches removed from the machine. Now, once you learn the tension, you can pull them and not use your finger over the next one. But when my strand here is this long and it's taking some time to do it, then I'm going to just be very sure. So I'm going to just pull them off just like this, hold them on my needle with my finger. And the more slack you get in behind, the more you can take off. see, I've got a good chunk here. I'm gonna continue going. I'm gonna hold my, you can't see, but let me turn this. I'm gonna hold my finger over and pull through. Of course, when you're doing a beanie and things like that, you don't have a strand that's this long, so it comes off very quickly. And oops. And there we go. Oops. And once your black keys are past the guide, all you have to do is take your hand like this and grab the red dividers and pull it, and it'll come around with no problem. See, I can just grab this and turn it, or pull it, and it doesn't hurt it. And here we go, 2 more. 1 and 2. There we go. Got our piece off the machine. I'm going to remove my machine and I'll see you right back. Beautiful. All right, so here's our piece. We are going to make sure that we stretch it out widthwise. You know, this yarn worked beautifully in the machine. I'm so excited about it. And we're going to stretch it lengthwise. And that just softens it up, and look how beautiful that is. Now the only thing that you have to think about is what you want to be on the inside and what you want to be on the outside. But let's just cinch it up and then make that decision. So take one end and pull tight. Making sure you smooth out that base as you go along. You don't want to just pull it and have it all wonky at the top. You want it nice and neat. Pull through. I think I overdid it with the length, but hey, well, that's just what I do. And we're going to get in there. And pull through. And tighten it. And the last section here. And tighten. Don't pull too tight because, I mean, you want to tighten it so it's completely closed, but be careful because I say it all the time. You have strength beyond what you realize. You can bust this strand with no problem. So I'm going to push that knot down with my thumb just like that. Then I'm going to pop this needle into the center, grab it with my hand so that I don't snag the inside, pinch the top, bring that all through, all of it through, so this is in half. Then pull that yarn tail through, just like that. Tug on it just a little bit and that will bring the knot to the inside. Then we're going to take the other tail and we're going to do the same thing. So smooth it out. There you go. And this one can be cut a little bit because you don't need a big long tail for this part. So I'm going to cut that. And we're going to reinforce the top. You can make a lot of kids' beanies. And you know what? A beanie and a scarf, probably, well, I'm saying maybe 1.5 sets, maybe 2 beanies and a scarf out of that whole thing, because it's huge. I'm looking at it and it doesn't look like I hardly touched it. All right, so just to finish this off, and then I'm going to pull on the center one so that's right up close, and I'm going to tie a firm knot. 1, 2, and I always do 3, and 3. All right, so now all we got to do is figure out which we want to have on the outside. So I'm going to just look at both sides with you. You guys, 3 to 6 month beanie right there. Or is it 6 to 9? I can't remember. You have to look at my video that tells you row counts. All right, but there we go. And let's turn it the other way. And so I can have my pumpkin those colors, which is beautiful, or these ones, which are a little bit more muted. Oh my goodness, it's a tough decision because I'm making a male gnome. I think I'm gonna, I don't know. I gotta think about it. I gotta turn it inside out a couple times and try again. Think about it. This way wins because I think it's more fall-y looking. Even though I like the bright colors on the other side, but what a beautiful beanie this would make, because you can make it reversible with a removable pom-pom. I'm just gonna hide that tail to the inside since I know that that won't be showing. Cut that off a little bit. You're going to grab your fiber fill and you're going to, if you're like me, pull it apart just to loosen those fibers, and we're gonna stuff it in there. I don't know, I say it all the time and I could be wrong, but I think it goes farther, but maybe that's in my head. I don't know. And I'm gonna pop that in there. What do you think? Do you think if you pull it apart, it'll go farther? Do you do that, or am I the only one? Tell me in the comments. I'd be curious to know. And we missed a step before we did this, so I'm gonna just let that stay in there. Actually, it might help me do the next step anyway, so that's good. Grab yourself a piece of yarn that goes around 1.5 times. And I always do this before I put my stuffing in, but you know what? I think I'm onto something. I think this is easier. We're going to make sure our sides are all nice and smooth so that we have the very top part here, the very top edge. This will help you see better anyways. We're going to pick up a stitch, pull through, go over 2 bars, which is 1 row, and go over 2 bars, under 2 bars, over, under, all the way around the edge. Over, under, over, under, over, under. You guys, you can stay on the correct edge better if you stuff it like this. So there we go, your choice. And we're gonna go all the way around. We're making a drawstring closure here, so we can cinch up the top. There we go. I wasn't sure if I'd get to this today because when I got up this morning, my husband says, the bikes are loaded. It's gonna be hot this afternoon, really hot, like plus 30, but with the humidity, it's like feels a lot hotter than that. So we had the bikes loaded. I was in the truck and we were off to the city to do a beautiful trail by the airport. And we were out of the house by 9:15. We went for a really long bike ride, 25 kilometers, and then went for lunch. Now, before you think, Shelley, you're amazing, you can do 25 kilometers on your bike. I have a motor on mine. I have to pedal, so it's not that you know, it's not like a motorcycle, but I do have several assists on it, and I use the highest assist, so I barely pedal, but it's great. Figure if my husband wants me to come with him and he wants me to keep up with him, I have to get an electric bike, and that's what I did, and I love it. So we're gonna stuff our pumpkin just like that. We're gonna pull this tight. You want a nice round pumpkin, but you do not want your rows to separate like that. If your rows separate like that, take some stuffing out. But I can fit more in there, so I'm gonna take a little bit more. It's shocking how much these things can hold, but I think that'll do it. Pinch that so you can kind of get an idea of what that pumpkin's gonna look like. I think that's good. So now I'm gonna take these two and I'm going to do around once and around twice. Then when I tie it, it'll kind of stay in place and hold itself so that I can tie the second knot without it coming undone. Just like that. Now I'm gonna just take my needle and I'm going to reinforce it around the top row of stitches there to close the base. So just underneath, just like that. I will put these needles in the description below. They're a bent needle and they work beautifully for this kind of work. I'm going to switch to my metal wool needles in just a second, and I'll show you those too, and they will be also linked down below. All right, so I'm going to keep going till I can close that. There we go. I have a nice close. A little bit more to make it even. There we go. And I'm just gonna knot it off. Pull it through the loop. Pull that knot down with my thumb. Make one more. And into the center, under the stuffing, out the side. Give it a little tug. Cut that off. And there is our makings of a pumpkin. Beautiful colors. I think I thought I was going to do the other side, but however, this is the side we're going with. I can't remember now. But I want this to be at the bottom because the hat will cover this part here. And this is, I like these colors better for my male gnome. All right, so let's just get this nice and uniform. Just play with it a bit and you'll compact that stuffing the way it needs to be. There we go. I am going to grab my metal wool needles. These are my favorite. It's called Love Knitting. I get them at Walmart, but you can get them on Amazon for cheaper. You get double the amount for the same price, so I will link those below. But I'm going to take the biggest one of the three. They come in 3 different sizes, and they have a little plastic end. You've seen me use them all the time. And we're going to go ahead and take that long tail that we were using and pop that on our needle. And we're going to take our yarn and we're going to bring it around, go straight down and around wherever it is and into that center, go straight through and come out the top center, just like so, and pull through. And give that a good pull. Now you can decide how many sections to your pumpkin you want. You can do 5 bigger sections. Keep it an odd number. You can do 5 bigger sections or you can do 7 smaller. I kind of like the look of the 7 smaller, so I'm going to try to do that. So I'm going to pull. I'm going to go around. Just going to eyeball it. Guess. Oops. Where it goes. Come around. Pop that through. And up through the center. You can see I'm struggling to find the center there, but I will. There we go. It's because it's so tight. Maybe don't make it so tight if you're on your next pumpkin. But I do like it tight because I don't like to see any opening at all. And then I'm going to pull. There you go. And we're going to repeat that process around, through the center, up through the top. Mercy, I did tighten that one really too tight. There we go. Pull it through. Now you can just move this to where it needs to be before you completely tighten it. And what you can do too is you can take the second one that you did, pull it, it'll tighten the first one. Then you can take this one and tighten it, and then this one. And easily can move these over just as you need to. All right, to get the right size. There we go. I'm going to move it over just a little bit more towards me. You want them to be fairly uniform. There we go. I'm going to do another one. And I'm going to complete this pumpkin by doing this as many times as I want. See, now that I've loosened that a little bit, it's easier to get in. So persevere, you can do it. There we go. And pull. That looks like it's the same size. About. Maybe I'll move it over just a little bit. Like one row. And pull. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's a little guessing game, but we got this. See how much easier it is for me to get that up there now. And Spread it out. Oh, love, 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 love. Love it. It's gonna work perfectly. It always does. And it will for you too. Up into the center. And pull. And one more. You guys, it's perfect. I'm going to try to take this little piece down with it. Pop that in there. Little yarn tail. There we go. And up. Give that a pull. See, I made this way too long, but the thing is, it was beneficial because it was easy to, I didn't run out, and more is better than less. Now you can just use your fingers, move those over a little bit if you need to make it all even, and there we go. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So once you have them tightened the way you want them to be, and if you need to tighten some of the other ones, you just pick up one and tighten it and then move over and fix it that way. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up a stitch here. Might have to change needles, but I'm going to see if I can persevere with this one. There we go. Pull through. Get that into the loop. Pull that down to tighten, and let's do that one more time. And from here, we're going to set up our 46 needle machine again. If you're using your 48, that's the one you're gonna choose. And we are going to get the color that we're going to use for the head. You can use the same yarn, doesn't really matter, or you can choose a different yarn. I'm gonna cut that off. This is beautiful. This is a beautiful pumpkin. If you were to make a stem using your I-cord maker, or over maybe 7 needles on your machine, go back and forth in a flat panel, then you can twist it and make a stem for here. That would be very nice as well. But we're going to make a head. So I'm going to grab my machine. You can see this one's a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just pick this up and just manipulate it over just a little bit, all the way around. Easy to do. For the head, I decided to go with Lion Brand. Pound of Love. It's called Pink Salt. Who would name that pink salt? That's definitely not pink. It is orange. So I'm going to, or I mean it is peach. So I'm going to use that. You can choose whatever you want because most of it gets covered anyways. But we're going to bring our last white and our first black needle in line with our yarn feeder. If you don't have a peachy color like this, choose white or ivory. Doesn't matter. Choose whatever your little heart desires, or use the same yarn that you used for your pumpkin. But we're going to cast on the same way we did for the main piece, behind and in front, letting it slip through your fingers. Just like so. Before you get to the end, you're going to set your row counter to 0. So you're ready to go. Into the yarn feeder it goes, and I like that tensioner so much, which is crazy because I never use one, but hey, turning over a new leaf. I'm going to pop that into there, pop that into the smallest little space, and we're going to go slow on the first round. Oop, it's tight coming out of that ball, even though I've used it a lot already. Friends, you are going to knit 30 rows, and then you're going to do the drawstring cast off just like we did for the pumpkin. However, I will meet you back when I get 30 rows done, and I'll show you the second way to cast off if you would like to see the second way that I do it. All right, so I'm going to knit 30 rows. All right, so I have completed 30 rows, and we are going to remove it from this side. So I'm going to cut a long tail, if I can get in here. I'm going to cut a long tail. It goes around my barrel 1.5 times, 1 to 1.5, 2 times. 1.5 to 2 is best, I guess. Into the center that goes. I've got to work around my camera here. And I'm going to make sure that I put some tension on here, because again, you have to knit those two, and you're going to turn your handle. As soon as that first needle goes down, you can take off the stitch, pull it through. The next one goes down, you can take off the stitch, and you see that the needles that come after are holding that stitch in place so you won't risk dropping them if you do one at a time like this. If you're new, this is the way to do it. Once you get the feel of the tension, you get the feel of the tension, and you don't have to be quite so careful. And you just pull it off. This works great when you're using very slippery yarn. This is my way of doing it. I use this method if I have slippery yarn that I'm using, because slippery yarn will fall off those thread teeth with no problem. But now I can rotate it. All these are ready to come off. So now you got to be careful again. You can put your finger over if you need to, just like that, and pick them off. And pull out to the side. When you have a bunch of loose ones like that, and you take this off and you lift up high on it, you're gonna most definitely drop that off. If you have loose ones like this, oops, you take it off and you just go just a little bit over that divider. Don't lift up too high, and then you'll be okay. Just like that. Pull through. And this is how we remove it. Just like that, all the way around. You can hold quite a few on your needle with your thumb. And there we go. Pull through, and there's your piece. All right, so we're going to take that head and we are going to stretch it. You have to always do that. Always, always, always. And we're going to do the same thing we did to the pumpkin. We're going to cinch one end, and we're going to reinforce the top. Just go around once, that's all you have to do. And a little bit more. Add a little knot. There we go. Pull that knot down with your thumb, then into the center and bring it through. Give it a tug to get that knot on the inside. And then we're going to leave this tail out. We're going to do the same thing to this one. This is going to come in half, just like what we did for our pumpkin. It's just that it's smaller, but we can worry about that in a second. We're going to cut this a little bit shorter, and I'm just going to tell you what to do here now. You're going to reinforce the top, and when you do that, well, let me do that because now I can't show you the other part because it's too loose. So I'm just going to quickly do this, then I'll explain to you the next step. Oops. Need a coffee. There we go. And a little bit more. Make a knot. Take these two, pull the inside one up right close to the one that you just were working, and tie a firm knot. You have almost like a flat pancake here, but it's not going to stay that way. All right, so tie a firm knot, cut off the shortest one, a little bit shorter. Then what you're going to do, I'm actually going to cut this one off too. You're going to pop the longer tail onto your needle. You're gonna find the edge, and we're gonna do a drawstring closure at the bottom here too. So this one I'm not gonna stuff beforehand because it's too small, but you're gonna find that very edge, and you're gonna do the same thing we did for the pumpkin. You're gonna pick up 2 bars, go over, under, picking up 2 bars at a time. Do that all the way around, smoothing this out as you go so you make sure that you have your edge. Once you have that done, you are going to stuff the head, and then you're going to cinch this closed and tie it off. All right, same thing we did with the pumpkin, except for you're going to leave it at that shape. So once you have this on, you're going to stuff your head, pull this really tight and drawstring close it, and then go around the outside loop just once to reinforce, and then you'll have your circle for your head, and I'll see you back. You'll have your little ball for the head. All right, have at her. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so there's my head, and I did have to attach another piece of yarn and go around there one more time to get it closed because I had cut my yarn too short, but no bother, not hard to do. Pop this onto your needle, and I'm just gonna, it's coming out this side, I'm just gonna go underneath and bring it across, just like that. I don't know why I did that, but I do. I'm gonna go in here again, come out the center, just because I want it completely centered on my pumpkin. So there we go, now it's coming out the center. You have to choose which is your top and which is your bottom. So if you want your head to sit like that, then this is going to be kind of covered here with the beard, but you'll see those colors in the back, or like this, and then you'll see these colors in the back. I want this to be at the top and most visible. So I'm going to take this yarn tail and I'm going to pop that through, come out the base the best that you can, pull it through just like that. Then I'm just going to make sure that there's a strand or two in between where this is coming out and where I go back in. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit there and go back in and come out. Back into the center there, pull up. And there we go. That is secure enough for my liking, but I'm just going to pick up a little bit underneath here, just like this. Unless this is a kid's toy, then you're going to want to secure it a little bit more, but this is just a decoration for me. So that's like, it's snug. And then you're just going to take this, wrap it around for extra measure, just like that, 3 times maybe. Then you're going to tie off one more time. One knot and 2 knots. You could also use a hot glue gun and glue gun that down. You really could, and it would be just as nice. There we go. I'm going to put that into the head, pull that tail through, cut it off. And there's the start of our pumpkin gnome. Grab your big machine again. We're going to make the beanie next. And whatever color choice of yarn you want for the beanie, I'll show you in a second what I'm going to choose. All right, so grab your 46 or your 48 needle machine one more time and your beanie color of choice, and I'll meet you right back. All right, so for the beanie, I'm choosing to use this. I don't have a label for it, but I believe that it's Pound of Love in Sage or something. I'll look for it because I've used it on my channel before, and I'll have the name of it in the description box below, so please look there. But it kind of reminds me of the stemmy kind of color, so I thought I would use that. It will look nice with the pumpkin color. We're going to bring the last white, the first black needle, in line with our yarn feeder. We're going to do the drawstring cast on, just as we've been doing. Let it loosely slip through your fingers. And before you get to the end, you're going to set your row counter to 0. Now, I have done 20 rows for this on my other gnome that you saw on the front, at the front beginning of the video. And you get quite a good size roll in there. I don't think I need to do quite so many rows, so I'm going to do 17 rows. If you want a thicker roll, a wider roll, then stick with the 20 rows. But I'm going to do 17 rows. I think that'll be a nice amount. So once I get my 17 rows knit, I'm going to then cast off with the drawstring cast off using either method that I showed you, and then I will meet you back. All right, so drawstring cast on, 17 rows, drawstring cast off. I'll see you when you have it off the machine. Once we have our beanie off the machine, we have to do the same thing. We have to stretch it. And we're going to take one tail, we're going to pull it closed. Lots of repetition in this tutorial, but very, very easy to make and such a cute outcome. I'm going to cut that a little shorter, make it easier to work with, but not too short. Where's my needle here? Let's just grab, come on. You'll see my messy needle box here. This is a very, very old box. It was my mom's. I love it. And we're going to take our smaller needle, and you can use your metal needle like what I showed you at the beginning, or you can take this smaller one that comes with your set if you purchase it. I'm going to just reinforce the top one time. Pull that through. I think when you reinforce it, you get a tighter closure at the top. But also you're just, you know, being cautious so that if little hands are playing with it and stuff, nothing's gonna break and it's just gonna stay together for years and years and years. So I do this for all of my beanies that I make, whether they're for your actual head or whether they're for a gnome or whatever they be for. And we're going to tie a knot. But I do say I haven't seen it done that way by any other person on YouTube. So you choose what you like, but I do think that it makes a nicer closure and just makes this more smooth too by going around and reinforcing it a bit. So there is essentially our beanie. Now what we're going to do, you can go ahead and cut this inside one off. But this is going to sit on the head like this, and then when you pull this one, you're not going to pull too tight, but you're going to pull it to get it to the size that you want it. And we're going to just, this is how it's going to be, but I'm just going to leave it like that for right now. And we'll tie this off and finish it later, but we're going to make the nose, and then we'll get a better idea of where the hat is going to be and how tight to put it. But that's a perfect size. 17 rows is perfect for this particular. I like it better than the 20. 20 is just a little bit too big looking for my liking. All right, so there we go. Let's grab our 22 needle machine and we are going to make the little nose. Now I'm going to show you something. Here is the first guy that I made, and you can see like even the difference in yarns. This one is, oh, what yarn is this? Caron Colorama. I don't know what it is. I'll mark it in the description box below. Too many questions. You're asking too many questions. It'll be in the description box below. But anyways, it's the same row count, but depending on what yarn you use, one might work up bigger than another, or what tension you use. Now, here is the beanie that I made with 20 rows. This one with our 17. So if you want one that rolls down and looks a little bit more loose and big, then go for 20. But this is what I wanted to show you here. I bought this bag of fall stuff at Dollarama, of course, $2.50. If you take one of the little acorns out of there, where's my little entryway? Take one of the little acorns out of there, it makes a perfect nose. That's what I did for this little guy. Look at that. All I did was glue gun it in. Now I didn't finish it because I wanted to show you. I will glue gun that down like that. And then it'll sit nicely over the nose, just like that, and over the beard. And it's perfect. So be creative. You don't want to use your 20. If you don't have a 22 needle machine, go find an acorn and use that. And it works absolutely perfectly. And I do like that look better, but I don't know about better. I do like how it looks because it's just got this like outdoory kind of feel. It's just this fall feel. But I'm going to, in case you can't get them, I'm going to make the nose on the 22 needle machine with you. And we will tighten this and close that off once we have the nose and the beard added. So grab your 22 needle machine, grab your pom-pom, faux fur pom-pom of choice. This is the one with the elastic, and I'm going to show you how you cut that to make the beard. And we're going to now make the nose. I'm not even going to clamp my machine down, because then I would have to remove this plastic tray so it doesn't crack, because it's a quick part of the project. And I'm choosing to use Loops and Threads Impeccable acrylic yarn in the color Almond for the nose. All right, I'm going to just give you a quick explanation, because look at, I have a knot. You're going to do the drawstring cast on. You're going to bring your last white and first black needle in line with your yarn guide. You're going to do a drawstring cast on just like what we've been doing for the rest. Weave in and out between, in front and behind each needle. You're going to set your row counter before you get to the end of your cast on row. You're going to knit 10 rows, just 10. And then you're going to do the drawstring cast off. All right, so drawstring cast on, 10 rows, drawstring cast off. Meet me back. Taking our nose, we are going to stretch it. We're going to pull that end closed. We're going to essentially do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to go around once to reinforce and close. Picking up just the top row of stitches and making a knot to secure. Pull down that knot with your thumb, take your needle, put it through the center, bring it through. You don't need to have this long, so you can just cut that off a little bit. You're going to then make sure it stays out. You're going to do the same thing to this side. Just like so. This one, because it's so small and this is going to be on the inside, what you can do is, well, I was going to say you don't have to go around, but I'm a creature of habit. I'm just going to do it. It doesn't take long at all. This will be on the inside, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. Take that inside one, pull it up like we did before, tie off in a firm knot. You've got a flat pancake here. Cut these two short. We are going to smooth this out, stretch it out. You're going to take a piece of yarn, and we're going to do the same thing on the base to make a drawstring that we did on our bigger pieces. This one's easy. You just smooth it out like that, and then you just pick up, go over, pick up, go over, over, under, over, under. And you're going to do this all the way around so that you have a drawstring. We're going to stuff our little nose and get a little round piece, and it'll be as cute as a button. Oops, picked up 3 there. And if you do, that's okay, because it'll still cinch wonderfully. Or if you pick up 1 strand and not 2, that's okay. And let's just get this one a little bit longer so it's easier to work with, and you can see what's happening there. Doesn't take much, but I say that all the time, and then I can't believe how fast my box goes, because these little pieces take way more than what you think they're going to take. But not this. Not that. Stuff it in there. See, look, I'm going to get it all in there. Just like that. I am going to cut these a little bit shorter so that I can work with them. go around and then around again, like a medical knot, a surgical knot, and then pull tight. I can't pull it any tighter. All right, never mind. I don't like this part. I can never tie ties on my own. I need to have help. I never get the help. I figure it out myself, but sometimes I wish I had 3 hands. There we go. So I'm going to put that on there. Hopefully you didn't cut yours too tight or too short. And then I'm going to try to close this up. Stuff that in there. You can sew this onto your face, or you can do what I do and hot glue gun it. So if you don't get this part completely closed, it's okay, because you can put your glue right here and stick it right onto your face. All right, that's enough for me. I'm going to tie off a knot. And one more. And I'm going to go get my glue gun hot, and I'll meet you back. I'm going to finish this next, finish the face before we move on. All right. Into the center, out the side, give it a little tug, cut it off. Oops, that went flying. And there's your little nose. That's going to sit right there. All right, I'm gonna go get my glue gun hot. I'll see you in just a minute. All right, so while the glue gun is heating, I'm going to take this pom-pom. Where the elastic is, you're going to shove the point of your needle in there. Be careful. In there till you can feel it coming through the side wall, and then you're gonna just cut. And when you cut, you open it up, and folks, that's what a pom-pom looks like. Take out these little things. Let me stand up and make sure my video is on. It is good, because I don't want to take apart another one of these if I don't have to. So you can see all a pom-pom is a square. All right, so I'm going to take one corner. Here's a corner right here, and I'm going to cut it across, just like that. And then here's my other corner and my corner and my corner. This is a straight cross one that's going to go under the nose. Right here, I'm going to take this one, and I'm just going to round it off. So taking it from a point to just rounding it off. Don't take too much off, just like that. And that's going to be, save these in case you want to piece them in there, but that's going to be where we're going to attach, or that's going to be the base. Now, another thing that I want to do is, you see, here is our section. I want to make sure that the head, the front of the head, is in the middle of a section there of the indent, because I think it looks better than if it was. Let me just show you. I'll take this one because I finished him already. Here's the section edge, but if I was to turn his head, it's like that. These kind of look like, well, they kind of look like arms. You can decide if you like, but they look like malformed arms. So I like to keep it, and you find whichever one you like and have that in the center where that line is. Then you can put a little bit of glue. When you figure out which one you want, put a little bit of glue underneath the head there and tack it down. Then it's not going to spin on you. Now, I also pointed the hat, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. I'm just going to go grab my glue gun. Hopefully it's hot. All right. So I have my glue gun. It's right here. Now, this is an old thing, so we're going to hope that it holds up. And we're not going to tack this down yet. We are going to put the nose on. So I'm going to take some glue. You can see there's hard glue on there because this is my second attempt. My first glue gun let me know that it was too cheap and it's no good, and I got to throw it out. Okay, this one's a little bit better. You're going to take your nose and you're going to stick it on to your head. Middle. little bit above, and then I'm gonna just take this, and I don't want it to point up, so I'm gonna just glue that on so it points, not points down, but sits straight. There we go. Just like that. Then you can put your hat on and just play with it. And I'm gonna just glue that around the nose like that, but I want to put the beard on first. So the hat goes on last, believe it or not. Here is the straight part of the beard. So I'm going to just take my glue and I'm going to put a bead of glue right there. I'm going to attempt to try to put a bead of glue right there. Then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right under the nose and push up. So I kind of got it in a U shape like that. Perfect. So very easy. I'm going to make sure that this comes down just like this. Then I'm going to put a bead of glue on the corner there. Actually, I lied. I'm going to do that after I put the hat on now, because then we can fix that up into the place that it needs to go. I'm going to put that on just like that. I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to go on the side of the nose. I need to add more. Okay, baby, come on. I'm gonna just go on the side of the nose. Okay, Amazon, here I come. It is now time to treat myself to a good glue gun. There we go, right there. And right there. Then I'm gonna pop this down over. I still haven't tightened the drawstring, as you can see, but that's what we've got so far. All right, and then I'm gonna just position this how I want it. Oops, ouch. Then I'm gonna take this back tail and I'm gonna pull it just a little bit. And as you pull it, it tightens the rim and rolls it. You don't want it too tight though, trust me. And we're going to glue down the sides. Actually, that's too tight. We're gonna glue down the sides. We're gonna leave the back half open because we're gonna put some stuffing in there. So I'm gonna take my glue gun. I'm going to just pop a dab right there. That the glue stick fell out. Where are you? There you are. Note to self, if you don't have a glue gun, don't buy a cheap one. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. All right, so I'm going to put this here and then I'm going to tack that down. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. We fill in the beard last, just like that. And then you're going to take your tail here. You cannot leave it like this because it will just come undone. Once you have that placed where you think you want it to be, put the yarn tail on there and just tie off in a knot. Just to secure that end, because that's your drawstring. Just like that. And another knot. And that can be tucked right up into your beanie like that, because you're going to put a little bit of glue right there. But before you do that, I want you to take a little piece of stuffing, not a lot, roll it into your hand like that. So it's like a little bit of a cylinder. I might be too close to the camera. Just like that. Then you're going to pop that in there underneath the point of the hat, just like that. Just to let it peek up just a bit, and then you can go ahead. You can either take this, if it's longer, and sew this on, or you can glue it. I prefer to glue it, but I think what I have to do is I have to take this. It's not going to stay there. I'm going to poke it into the head, poke it out the side, just to hide that tail. And then I can pull this back down. Maybe I do like 20 rows better, you guys. I'm fighting with this one a little bit, and the other one I didn't fight with at all. But I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put some glue on the side of the head, and I'm gonna hold that down. You can see the peach there, but you won't in a second. I'm gonna take glue to this side, to the side of the head. And hold that down. So you can see what I'm doing here. Point that up and then work on your beanie. Yeah, that looks great. So now I'm gonna just take this and I'm gonna just go along the perimeter there, not right close to the pumpkin, but about half an inch up, quarter of an inch up. Then I'm going to just rest that down in there, just like that. See, I don't know what I like better, because now that this is positioned, I like the very roughly less rounded edge than the other one, but they have their own kind of look. You choose what you like better. See, and I pull that down and I'm getting a beautiful little edge. Like, it looks so nice. And here too. Just like that. Point up your head, your hat. Make sure that the center is in the center, and then I'm going to lift up this head just a little bit, put a bead of glue there, and then push it down. Now my head won't turn. It's just great how it comes together. So now you see that you've got this little flappy edge here. All I'm gonna do, now that I know where my beanie is I'm gonna put some glue in there. Now that this thing is cooperating, I like it now. And you're gonna just push this down. You're gonna put some glue in here, and you see now why you had to wait till the end, because you want to fill in the spaces. And push that down. It's that fabric piece that's underneath, and there we go. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. My little gnomes. If you want to take these little extra pieces, you can, but there's not really anything holding it. This one has a little piece that's holding it, so you could fill that in, but I think it would look messy. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it like that. And just play with it. All right, one more thing. We are going to add arms. Now I added them to this guy already. I hope that my machine isn't in the way and that you can see that. But, oh, so cute. And this is what they look like. This is the one for the one that we're doing together. And I made one already. I'm gonna try to keep the colors as close to being the same as I can, so I might have to dig down into the ball if you got a different one than I do. But I'm gonna bring my last white and first black needle in line with my yarn guide on my 22 needle machine. We're going to cast on, as we have been doing. And set your row counter to 0. Go very slowly on the first row. Oopsie, because that one didn't want to go down. It was going to split, but I'm going to help it. Very slow. Sometimes our 22 needle machine likes to split this yarn in between these two red teeth on the first row. But going slow will generally always prevent that. It says 2, 3, knit 30 rows. So you're going to knit 30 rows, then you're going to do the drawstring cast off, and you're going to make 2. All right? So 30 rows, drawstring cast off, make 2. There we go. I have one done already, but I tried to match the colors as best as I could, and it's going to be in half anyways. But the reason why we made it so long was because it will stuff itself. Like the way we fold it and sew it, we're not going to have to add any fiber fill. It'll just be perfect. So I cinched that end, and as normal, we're going to just go around. You guys, I have never really, honestly, I don't remember another project out of all the projects on my channel where I have used a glue gun to adhere pieces. Well, because if you're making for kids, you don't want to do that. This is for me. I'm keeping both of these. I love them. And so I am going to attach these with a glue gun, but I'll show you how to do it using the thread here if you like. But all I did here is I pulled the yarn tail inside. I'm going to put this in half again. Pull this through. We're going to cinch the other side. Keep whichever tail is longest. I'm going to cut this peach one a little bit shorter because the purple one will be long enough for what we need it for. And I got glue guns stuck all over my fingers. We're going to just close this top right here. And again. Pull tight. I'm going to tie these, pull this one right up to the top, and I'm going to tie these really tight together. Just like that. You're going to hide this peach one inside, or you can just sew it in between here, whatever, but you'll see what I mean in a second. But I'm going to go ahead and hide it. Get it out of my way. Don't have to worry about it. Now we've got this little, what looks like a little beanie, okay? Stretch it out again. You're going to take your long tail. I hope my battery isn't running out on my phone. And as I'm recording, and we're going to have this straight like that, and you're going to fold it in half. Stick your finger in there and tuck that all in so it's nice and folded. Then you're going to take this end and you're going to bring these two sides together to complete that circle at the top. See? Just like that. You can even go around if you want it to be perfect. Just like that. And like that. And then we're going to mattress stitch up the side. Now I like to have the wide part of the V on both sides going to the left. So there you see it is right there. The point is down here on both sides. Just choose, make sure that you push your finger in there just to flatten it out. We're going to go into this first stitch here. We're going to pick up 1, 2 bars. That's 2 stitches. We're going to go over to this row, best that we can. We're going to pick up 2. You'll see, like I'll show you in more detail once I get a little further up, and then you'll know what I mean, because it's harder to see down here. So let me just go in where I came out, pick up 2. In where I came out, pick up 1, 2. I'm just going into the center of that stitch, and I'm keeping along this same row where the wide part of the stitch is going to the left. It's just much easier. See? And so when you go in where you came out, you always stay on the same row, because there's our strand. Go in, pick up 1, 2. Very simple. Here I'm coming out, go in, pick up 1, 2. And do it again. And again. And then I'm going to pinch down here and I'm going to pull this tight. See how that brings it together and it makes that row? You don't even, here's a row, and here's the row we just brought together, and here's the next row. So by keeping your stitches, wide part of the stitch, going to the top on both sides, then you make a natural row. I'm going to pick up 2, and pick up 2, pick up 2, pick up 2, invisible seam or the mattress stitch. That's what it's called. And pick up 2, and I'll just get up to the top here and to the top here. Pinch where we last left off and pull. If you pull too hard, you'll gather in there and you don't want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to just pull this other edge up. I'm going to, from this side, I'm coming out here, I'm going to just go up here, pick up the stitch just to bring those two evenly together, go back in on this side, tie off a knot. Then I'm going to, here's where my tail is. I'm going to put it in half this way and sew those together right in the center, just like that. And then I'm going to sew down the side. It's just how I do it. You could have done it the other way and just made one long seam down the side, but this is just how I always do it. Point is, I'm going to close this up just with a simple seam. Make a little knot there. Go back into the center. Don't pull it too tight. And I'm going to sew up to this side. The reason why I go into the center first is I usually will sew up to there, then I'll come back to the center and I'll sew this way, then I'll come back to the center, and then my tail's in the center, and it helps me to center it onto my piece when I'm sewing it on. So it's just a habit. I wouldn't have had to do it for this because you're going to see we're not going to sew it on, and we want it on the well, if you are going to sew it on, you're going to trail this back into the center. If you sew it on, you're going to go, and I'll show you because this is what I normally do. Into the center, tie off a knot, and then when you put this onto your piece, wherever you put it, this is going to be centered. But on a piece like this, it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to just take this and I'm going to put that inside. Because I'm not sewing it on, I'm going to be free. I'm going to free myself up and I'm going to say, nope, not going to do it. So here's the center. I'm going to put it on the sides where these next two indents are. So I'm going to put some glue on here and I'm going to literally lift up that head, just put it lightly under there, making sure the seam, here's where my seam was, that goes down. All right, so let me just put a little tiny bead of glue on here. 1 second, I'm going to reach this around and bring it over here. I'm going to put a dab of glue all the way across. Oh my goodness, I have never done this, but it's freeing. I'm going to do it. Pick that up, stick that in there, push down. Voila. Let's do it for this one. You can sew these on. If you do not want to be a rebel and do it this way, sew them on. Pop that under there. Make sure you shove them in the same distance so the arms are the same length. And friends, look at these gnomes. I don't think they need legs. If you want to do legs, do 2 more exactly the same and then just have them sitting on it at the front here. And you'll have 2 little stubby legs and it'll be perfect. But I think I like how they sit flat and I don't think it needs it at all. There we go. Oh, they're just beautiful. Absolutely adorable. And there they are. I just think that they turned out so beautiful, and I took measurements of them, and the one that we made together is 21 inches around the widest part of the pumpkin and 8 inches tall. And the other one, being that it was a little bit different yarn, was 21 and a half inches, almost 22 inches, 21 and 3/4, I think it was, around the widest part of the pumpkin, and it was 8.5 inches tall. So they're a very, very nice size. And at the end of the photo shoot here, you'll see it sitting on my dining room table. And I'm gonna leave it there. I love it. I think it's such a cute little fall setting, and so here it is coming up right here, and so you're going to want to make a couple for yourself and make a little table setting. All right, friends, so thanks again for joining me. It has been a pleasure spending time with you. I cannot wait to see your gnomes. If you are posting in other Facebook groups, please always add the link and never share my row counts. I work very hard to put these tutorials together for free for you. And I would just value it if you would just post the link or send them to Koala Knits and Knacks instead of sharing row counts. So thanks a lot, friends. I really, really love and appreciate you all. Take care and have a blessed day. I'll see you in the next tutorial.